Welcome to the Hoops Culture Podcast, where we talk about all things basketball. Before we start, not anybody here knows me besides my friends, so I'm Alton. I'm from New York City. I love basketball. That's why I started a podcast. I'm really excited to do this. It's something I really wanted to do for a long time. And, like playing basketball, like watching basketball. Well, any type of sport, but basketball's always been my favorite. It's fast paced, easy to watch, not boring whatsoever. And, it's just really fun storylines without it because there's more than just the NBA. There's college, high school, and even YouTube, which we'll talk about today too. So, the first thing I really want to talk about is this Ben Simmons trade talks. So, this all started when I'd say, second round of the. Sorry, not second round. Yes, second round. Sorry about that. Second round, 2021 playoffs. This Philadelphia 76ers consists of Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris. Those are, I guess, the big three. And going into that series, I'd say more people not wanted, but more so picked Philadelphia to win against Atlanta. I had them winning, and Ben Simmons is known for not having a jump shot at all. His jump shot is abysmal, and it's not even that he shoots it, like he doesn't want to shoot it, so it makes it even worse because he'll not even shoot layups, which is terrible because he's a great finisher around the rim. So, but his defense is great, one of the best defenders in the league, no doubt. If anybody thinks that he's not one of the best defenders in the league, you're like shot, like you're crazy. But my opinion, Ben Simmons had a lackluster performance, especially not taking wide open layups, wide open dunks, passing out, being timid. You can't do that as the second best player on your team because how are you going to be timid when a lot of people are counting on you to hit shots, Like, that's just embarrassing. So after that, Doc Rivers, after their loss in the second round, which was very surprising, I didn't think they were going to lose, but Doc Rivers, one reporter asked Doc Rivers if Ben Simmons can be a championship point guard on a championship roster, and Doc Rivers did not know. He literally did not know, and it's like pretty sad because like the kid Ben Simmons can play. Like I don't think he's terrible. Like you got to work with him, but you put his mentality down, saying I don't know. Like you have to put him up. You can't just be like that. That's why I think Doc Rivers is one of the most overrated coaches in the NBA, but that's like a whole nother topic that we will get to. But so Ben Simmons does not like that, does not talk to anybody on the 76ers. I'd say the entire offseason is working out with other players. Rajon Rondo, he works out with Chris Johnson, great trainer actually. Trains a lot of NBA players, a lot of greats too. Like he trained Dwayne Wade, LeBron James for a little bit. A lot of the good guys. So Ben Simmons recently says, "I'm not going to training camps. I don't want to be on the team anymore. You got to trade me before the season," which honestly was the worst thing the Philadelphia 76ers could have happened to them because I feel like that just drops his trade value so low to where teams at a point like Philadelphia was going to trade Ben Simmons to Houston for James Harden and a lot of picks, but that didn't happen. So man, I think his trade value went down a lot. Not to where like he's a terrible like it's just like nothing, no trade value. The man has trade value, but he is not what it used to be, especially with his lackluster performance in the playoffs. So, excuse me. I'm going to talk about teams I think he should go to that would definitely help his like kind of resurgence of his career, and maybe Philadelphia could retool their roster a bit. So, one of the first teams that I think would be perfect for Ben Simmons and for the person going to that team, to Philadelphia. I think the 76. I think the Wizards should call up Philadelphia and say, we want to trade Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons. Not straight up. Get some picks from Philly, maybe a couple, maybe a regular first, unprotected first, and a pick swap, and get that trade done. I think the Wizards should go kind of retool the roster. Beal, you're wasting you're wasting his talent. The man's a 30-point per game scorer. You traded Westbrook earlier in the offseason. I think it's time for him to get a new environment and see where he could go. Him and Philly is the perfect fit, as then you could roll Tyrese Maxey at the point guard, which would be ideal because he's looked very, very good in off the bench. Coming off the bench, he looked pretty good, which is great to see because then you know you have a backup plan if anything goes south with Ben Simmons. So then you got Beal at the shooting guard, and you could roll out whatever lineup you want. Beal will stretch the floor for them, and it'll be great. For the Wizards' sake, you get Ben Simmons, a young guy who's 20, I believe 23, 24. Let me fact check that real quick. But I believe he's 23, 24-ish. 25. Okay. The guy's 25 years old. And that's a good reset for your team. Reset the entire thing. Let him be your star player you build around for a couple of years. And it'll be great for them just because then you could kind of get a lot more shooters around him and maybe even make the playoffs a couple of years. But your ideal thing is tank, let him develop, do his thing, try to, really channel in every part of his game, driving in, passing, even shooting. You tell him shoot whatever you want, that jump shot's going to come eventually. I feel like the 76ers don't give him the confidence to shoot. Once he gets that confidence, I think the shot will always get better. I've known from my own previous just basketball things, like basketball knowledge. When I've played, you don't shoot the ball, you're not going to get better. When I would shoot the ball, I got better every single time. He shoots the ball in game, his 3-point percentage will go up. He's going to be shooting like 20% his first year, but the next year, it'll get better. Shoots mid-range shots. That's all he needs to do. Then the Wizards could, roll lineups with Ben Simmons. You got Denny Avdija, who I still think is going to be a good player. Not good, not great. Low, decent. Like, he's a simple player, which I like. You got Rui Hachimura, who actually looks very good. A Kawhi-esque type of player, kind of moves around like him a little bit, but it'll be perfect for their team. And you got Thomas Bryant, who's coming off an ACL injury, which is tough to really get over, but I think he's a decent center, someone who could get the job done. Excuse me, drinking some water. But he could really get the job done for them, and that would just be great all around. So I think that trade should be talked. The cons of that trade is that Beal doesn't want to give up too much, give up shots with Ben Simmons. I think that's the only con, but I really don't see that happening because Beal has worked as a second option before with John Wall. So I don't think that's the worst con in the world. I don't think that'll ever happen. And cons for the Wizards side, Ben Simmons just stays the same player. Doesn't really help in the future if they get great players along the way, and nothing works out, and you're kind of stuck with the same players the Sixers had. So that's it for the Wizards. Now, on the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, I think this trade is, I'd say the 76ers get the worst out of the pot, but the Spurs get more. So I got Ben Simmons going straight up to San Antonio, and San Antonio gives up DeJounte Murray, Derek White, and 3 first-round picks. So this is more so get role players around Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris would for sure have to be the number 2 option. No doubt I don't think DeJounte Murray or Derek White is a good second option. DeJounte Murray's a great player. Could give you 16 and 8 a night with 2 steals, but he would never get up to the 20-point mark. Derek White's, I think, low 10s, like really low 10s, not even reach high 10s, like 19, 18 points per game. The guy could shoot, though, which is really valuable on a team with Joel Embiid. Guys who could shoot the ball, give him space so he could go work in the post. That's all you want. But on the Spurs side, Greg Popovich, a guy who doesn't take scared players. The guy would harden up Ben Simmons' mindset to like a lot. And Greg Popovich, another defensive-minded coach, which you love to see and would help, extremely help Ben Simmons' game. And Ben Simmons would work well with some of those guys. I mean, they don't have DeRozan anymore. You got Devin Vassell with no DeJounte Murray or Derek White. You got Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, Kelvin Johnson, who I'd say is the best player on the team with DeJounte Murray and Derek White. But with Keldon Johnson, Ben Simmons, that's a good young squad, young solid squad. They might be bad a couple years. Get you maybe put in some pick swaps with Philadelphia, some lottery protected picks, and you wouldn't be bad because you could just develop. And Philadelphia gets more depth in their squad, which would be perfect for them. More depth with Philadelphia equals also just more. Why am I forgetting the word? Some more wins. I don't know how I forgot an easy word, but whatever. More wins. So, next team. I got Philadelphia with Golden State. So, Golden State, I have a total different route for them, and I'll explain that in a second. But let me just explain it on the Philadelphia side. So, Philadelphia will get Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and the couple first and a second. I think Philadelphia wouldn't like this trade as much as the other ones, but it's still a good trade considering Andrew Wiggins is a guy who could play who's gotten better at defense than what he was. Good, a really high-end role player. The guy could give you 19 a night, 19, 3, and 4. Still got to tighten up his game. He misses a lot of shots sometimes. Will go cold. He's hard-headed to where he doesn't miss, but the guy has potential to be very good. Good player for them. Jonathan Kuminga, a guy they could develop off the bench to start off. Then you never know. You move Wiggins to shooting guard and put Kuminga in the starting lineup. The guy's athletic. He's a killer. I like his game a lot. I think he's very good. I think it'll be great for the Warriors if they don't trade, but how the Warriors will work this out is a little tough. I say you put Ben Simmons at the point guard, yes. Steph Curry at the 2, running off the ball, and then you got Clay at the 3. Draymond, I'd say Draymond at the 4. Keep Wiseman at the 5. So Wiseman, I think, is gonna get better from that. Get better from here. His shot's getting better. So you could have 4 guys who could potentially shoot. Well, 3 guys who could shoot the ball and 2 distributors. Ben Simmons and Draymond Green. Ben Simmons distributing the ball to Steph Curry, finding him open would be so killer. And you got Klay Thompson there, and man, they got a good second unit with Moses Moody, Jordan Poole, a lot of other guys. Man, I think that would be a good trade for the Warriors. Philadelphia, not so much, but like I said, their trade value, Ben Simmons' value has definitely tanked from what it was. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But that's the Warriors trade I have. The next trade I have coming up is involves the Sacramento Kings. So Sacramento Kings are in a tough spot. Really, really tough spot. Man, I don't know why Davion Mitchell looks like a baller, but bro, you can't have more than 4 point guards on your squad. Like 6 guards. You have 6 guards on your squad. Like, come on, man. That doesn't work. Like, you got Fox, Halliburton, Mitchell, Hield, and it's just that's not how you develop a squad at all. You're gonna mess up with the development. You have a straight baller in De'Aaron Fox. You make him pissed off with a bad team, he's out of there. He's out of there. And you don't want to mess that up because this guy is a 25 point per game scorer and 7 assists. A great defender, fast. And his jump shot's getting better. It's not like he's just athletic for no reason, like athletic and can't shoot. Bro, the guy's becoming an all-around player. You can't let this guy go. So I think what you do is you package Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes with a couple of picks, and Philadelphia gives you Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle could come off the bench to play defense. Ben Simmons, I don't know how that fit will work. Maybe you move Ben Simmons to his natural position at small forward. See how that goes. Get him on more cuts and stuff. And Philadelphia gets the shooter they wanted, Buddy Hield. You get a tough player, Harrison Barnes, who could do a lot of things for you on offense and defense. Be a simple player, does what he needs to do to win. That's a perfect trade. But the cons of that is that the Kings will have a bad fit with Fox and Simmons, because who's gonna handle the ball? Who's gonna facilitate? Because both are very elite facilitators, but who's gonna facilitate there? And with Philly, just I really don't see any cons for that. Buddy Hield's gonna shoot, but man, he had a bad year. His shot looked off. He was missing like shit, man. Like not even his regular percentage, like 30%. And the guy's a good shooter. I don't know what happened. I think he just got thrown off his game as soon as Luke Walton went there. And that's another con. Luke Walton as your coach is one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how this guy's had a job with 2 teams. Like, you could just... How he didn't make the playoffs with the Lakers in 2019 is beyond me. Like, you have LeBron for like... Okay, he missed a lot of games, but you had him for 40 games. You couldn't win like 30 of those and win with the other guys, because the other guys weren't bad, like Brandon Ingram, Lonzo. Like, come on, man, that's pretty sad. But that's my trade for the Kings. We got 2 more left. 2 teams. These are the best. I'd say my last one I'm gonna save. Yeah, best for last. But we're gonna go to Oregon, Portland Trailblazers. Excuse me. I got Ben Simmons and a 2nd-round pick going to Philadelphia to Portland, sorry, I was looking at my thing wrong. And Portland sends CJ McCollum, Nazir Little, and CJ Ellaby to Philadelphia. CJ Ellaby will just be a fill-in, get the contracts to match. And CJ McCollum and Nazir Little are like the real, obviously the real pieces. CJ McCollum's a guy you really do want around Joel Embiid. He could not facilitate, but just get you a bucket. That's all he needs. Gets you a bucket. Layup, mid-range, 3-point shot. He can create his own shot. That's very, 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 very valuable in the league. Nazir Little's more so a project. He was, I think higher ranked than Zion Williamson in their high school class. And I thought he was going to go like top 3 in the 2019 draft, but man, he looked like complete crap in North Carolina, and he's looked pretty decent in the league. He's he's got a good off ball on ball defense. I believe you could develop him into a great player, and you see what happens, man. Philly could develop him off the bench, see what happens, put him in minutes like 15, 18 minutes a game, get some hype plays and all that. I think that would be great for them. Cons, CJ McCollum can't play defense. Their defense drops off a lot, losing Ben Simmons. I mean, yeah, the 20 to 23 points a game will help, but if your defender scoring 30 on you, it's not good. But he would be a positive bucket. And on the Portland side, you got Ben Simmons playing with Damian Lillard, which I think would be great for his career because Dame is a great teammate, which would uplift him even more to just be better. Everyone talks great about Dame as a teammate, and that would just be perfect for Ben Simmons. And Dame will finally have someone on his team who could play defense. Think about that. That's great. Great for them. I think this trade should be discussed the second most, next to my next trade that I'll talk about. But we got to see what happens with how much his value dropped, because I believe the 76ers do want Damian Lillard. I don't think Damian Lillard's going anywhere. He doesn't want to leave. I don't think Portland wants to trade him. They'd much rather trade CJ over him. So that's my thoughts on this Blazers 76ers trade that could possibly happen. Next, Minnesota and Philadelphia. This is where things get juicy. Let's talk about Ben Simmons' fit in Minnesota. Well, let's talk about the overview of the trade. So, you send Ben Simmons and Seth Curry to Minnesota. And you send D'Angelo Russell, Josh Okogie, Jaden McDaniels, and Naz Reid to Philadelphia. D'Angelo Russell, Men's has been so unhealthy, misses so many games throughout all the year. He's like a modern day guy with glass bones, and it's pretty upsetting to say, but man, he missed so many games, and I think everybody in the league would love to see him what he did in Brooklyn in 2018, 2019. I think that was one of the most wholesome moments in the NBA because everyone loved that Brooklyn team. I have a lot of friends, two friends, shout out Alden and Chris there. They're Brooklyn Nets fans. They love that season, and they love the season even more now with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. But man, that team was wholesome. But we want to see D'Angelo Russell get better. I think everybody does. Josh Okogie, some guy who really looked good his rookie year and kind of fell off a little bit, but he could still produce. Jaden McDaniels, who looked really good in his rookie year, and Naz Reid, a guy who's actually getting better every year, which would be good to have off the bench. Ben Simmons fit with Cat. I think that would be a great fit because you have him play defense, especially since Cat or Anthony Edwards can't play defense whatsoever. You put Seth Curry in there for shooting, which would even up your lineup even more. So I think that trade's good all around. The only cons is obviously D'Angelo Russell's terrible defense and not knowing what you're going to get out of Josh Okogie. And Minnesota, I'd say who gets the ball. Anthony Edwards needs the ball to score, but he's very good. I love his game. Cat needs the ball to score. How is that going to work with Ben Simmons? Is he just going to throw it to Anthony Edwards on the wing, or just throw it to Cat in the post and that's it? Or how's that whole thing going to work? But those trades, I believe, would be the best for Ben Simmons, best teams to go to. I know he wants to go to California teams. That I put the Kings there for a reason. I don't think the Clippers, Lakers. Oh yeah, and I put the Golden State. Forgot about that, the California team. I didn't put the Clippers or the Lakers because they have zero assets to get Ben Simmons, and that would never happen in a million years. But I guess nice try on his part, trying to get to those LA teams. But what are you gonna do? So next topic. This is gonna be about the state of YouTube basketball, man. What a interesting scene on YouTube right now. One of my favorite YouTubers, shout out Nick Briz, is a savage. Man, I love his videos. I think yes, he does do a little too much with like all the extra stuff, but man, that's why people want to watch it. That's his demographic. That's his like topic. Being like not really a savage, but just being like, bro, just like go into like crazy situations, just yell, just talk trash, play your game. Like, man, you got Nick, who's very good actually, kid's insanely athletic, and he's very fun to watch because he'll talk a lot of crap. And you got Chris, pretty decent rapper actually, and he's talks shit. Chauncey talks some smack. He's probably the best player out of all of them. And you got Iman, he has the Abraham Lincoln beard, infamous beard that does not connect whatsoever, and he's trash. And then you got Carlos, who's trash, but he's a legend. So, man, I would, and the real reason I'm talking about them is because they had a game against Devontae Friga, and they had CashNasty, shout out CashNasty, one of my favorite YouTubers from back in the day. Been watching him since 2K16, but man, him versus Friga was like a show, a straight show. If Friga had famous TikTok Cam Wilder on his team, I think it was one of the most fun basketball games I've ever watched in my life on YouTube. And I'm including NBA games. That was like really fun to watch. Like there's all the trash talk. I just loved it. Um, Man, Nick is a savage. Does not care. Friga is such a nice guy. I love Devontae Friga. He's a really, really good guy. Shout out Devontae Friga if he ever watches this. He shouted out one of my videos back in the day. Like, I think last year I made like a top 25 YouTubers list. I deleted the video because it was like really bad quality. But he shouted it out. Like, he was a legend for that, man. He was so cool for that. So if he ever sees this, appreciate you, Devontae. And, I hope they rematch again. I think they're rematching on the 25th. Devontae's going to get his real squad. He's not going to have those three randoms on his squad. And I don't think Savage Squad's picking up Cash Nasty again. Maybe because I think they want to save it for Cash Nasty's Too Hype Squad versus Nick Savage Squad. But man, that's something I really wanted to talk about. And it'll be really fun to watch. But can't wait to see what happens. And I think that's going to be it for today. I appreciate everybody for coming out to watch. This is going to be my first episode. Tune in for more. I'm going to try to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 3 times a week. Everyone will enjoy it. I'm going to try to upload this around 8ish tonight. 8ish every night. Hope everybody enjoys. Have a good day. Peace.